REED-BBS, Black Birch Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies, Part 2 of the Pernell Whittaker Homage, My Remembrances of Pernell. Didn't intend for it to be a two-parter, but technical difficulties were at play. This video making process handed me lemons, so I'm finna make some lemonade and we gonna drink it if that's cool with you. Anyway, in regards to Pernell, I was going into just some of the opponents he fought, so that's a good place to restart from. Roger Mayweather, Jose Luis Ramirez, Greg Haugen, Azuma Nelson, Buddy McGirt, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Oscar de la Hoya, Felix Tito Trinidad. Like I stated, there's a handful of other guys, 10, 15 or so other guys who were legit, like your Freddie Pendletons, your Julio Cesar Vasquez's. There was a lot of other good dudes that he fought, your Rafael Pinedas. But these aren't necessarily household names, especially to a younger fan base, which I'm not fronting on. It's not even that type of party. I'm just saying, I could rattle off names for days and they may not mean something, so that's why I didn't. In terms of Pernell's losses, 4 losses and a draw on his record. I want to break them down. First loss was to Jose Luis Ramirez, which was a complete and utter joke and probably the worst decision of the 1980s, of the whole damn decade. Worst decision of the whole decade. Ramirez and Whittaker. Excuse me. The next blemish was the Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Chavez was like 89-0. I don't know, 65, 70-something KOs coming into it. You know, he was that dude. And him and Whittaker was that dude. It was like, yeah, let's see it. And at this time, I'm like fresh out of college. I'm like 21. I don't know, forget how old I was. Me and my dude, we had an apartment together. And we had this little warehouse gig. And, you know, I worked with a lot of Mexican homies. A lot of essays was there. And when this fight came up, they knew I was the boxing dude. Like, they knew I was the boxing dude they could talk boxing with. We had a lot of good conversations. And when it came to this fight in particular, I swear to God, I bet like 25, 30 of my coworkers. You know, little bitty bets. I wasn't balling or nothing. Still ain't balling. $5 here, 20 there, 15 here. I think the most I might have bet with one person was $50. Nonetheless, I was looking at maybe $500 worth of bets coming to me in my early 20s. That was a lot of money. So needless to say, to watch Sweet Pea clearly win that fight, 8-4, 9-3, however you want to objectively watch it, I was pissed off as hell that I bet I picked the right guy. My guy won. Oh, but because Don King promotes Chavez, I get nothing. And all these guys, to a man, all of my coworkers were like, yeah, man, he beat Chavez. Or I never saw Chavez like that in a fight before, man. And I'm like, well, y'all gonna pay me? You're telling me Pernell won, you gonna pay me? They like, well, you know, the official verdict. And I get it. It is what it is. Whatever. So we move on from that. But I just had a personal remembrance. Pay-per-view I got at my crib, betting coworkers on Pernell, and by all rights, I won. He won that fight. He got robbed that night. Another shaky loss was the loss. Well, the Chavez fight wasn't a loss, it was a draw. But the loss to De La Hoya was shaky as hell. I've already posted in the lead up to this video, I'm showing you the footage of Sweet Pea dipping and dodging and evading everything Oscar's throwing at him. That was pretty much the whole fight. In fact, if you look at the punch stats, Whittaker outlanded De La Hoya that fight. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was a robbery or that Whittaker beat De La Hoya's ass. He didn't. But I don't think, knowing that Whittaker was the defending champion, that fight, worst case scenario for Whittaker, it was a draw. Oscar didn't beat him. Oscar De La Hoya did not beat him. And just because the teenage girls were screaming every time he would let his hands go, ah! Ooh, Oscar! No, Sweet Pea's dipping and dodging and evading and getting out of the way of everything. No, man. No. He didn't win that fight. He didn't win that fight. Now, the first legitimate loss that I can acknowledge, ain't gonna front on, Felix Trinidad beat Pernell Whittaker. He did. He beat him. He beat him. That said, this was late in the days, Pernell. He had already been in rehab at least once, maybe even twice. And I'm not saying that to suggest that a prime Pernell beats Felix Trinidad at 147. I mean, because that wasn't Pernell's best weight any damn way. He was a 35-pounder. But even then, fresh out of rehab, later in his career, small, he gave Trinidad his toughest fight up to that point. He really did. Pernell did. And went the distance. And it was a close fight. It wasn't like Trinidad whooped his ass. Wasn't no ass whooping. Pernell's fourth and final loss was against Carlos Bojorquez. And literally, Pernell got stopped hitting the guy. It shows like a fourth round TKO, whatever round it was. Pernell threw a punch, landed the punch, and then his shoulder blade, something in his shoulder, like, as soon as he hit the guy, you know, you could see the reaction, like something had snapped or broke, and he couldn't continue. So that's how he got stopped the one time in his career, and that led to his fourth loss. I say all that to say this. He really was that dude, man. You can't judge this man by his record. If you watch him, pay attention to his pocket defense. The way he could use his legs to stay away from you, but he didn't always do that. He would just kind of stay in the pocket and use upper body movement and reflexes and whatnot. For his 17 KOs, he had very, very underrated pop. Very underrated pop. Not many dudes, I don't know of any dudes who stalked Pernell Whittaker for an entire fight. Dudes may have tried to or thought they were going to. That might have been their game plan coming in, but they didn't adhere to that shit for 12 fucking rounds. I can assure you that. My man was always at a size disadvantage. He was a bird chest ass dude, but he still got his. And low key between Pernell Whittaker and Mike Tyson, they were like the first hip hop era boxers. Like Pernell, every time he came to the ring, it was like the latest hip hop joint of that day. When he fought Chavez, oh my God, Hip Hop Parade by Naughty by Nature, that was the hottest song on them streets at the time. And he came out to that, 80,000 people in the Alamo Dome, mostly Hispanic. He came out defiantly to Hip Hop Parade. Oh my God. It pulled me in even more. Like I felt Pernell Whittaker, dude. So his passing, ain't for the Crown video or no shit, because y'all don't deserve that shit. But it touched the brother. It really did. It really did. But I want to speak on, he was a little dude. He'll be classified as a cutie, a pure boxer, but he had a mean streak, man. Despite the KO percentage, like I said, not many dudes walked him down. Not for long. In fact, there's a lot of footage of him stalking bigger men, banging their asses to the body with lefts, walking them down defiantly. He was that type of dude. Pernell was about it, man. He was about it. And, I mean, didn't stay away from conflict, didn't shy away from it. That wasn't his thing. If you wanted to fight, especially if you talk a little shit, and like, oh, be still, quit moving, let's fight. Okay, he'll be still. He ain't just gonna let you hit him, but he'll be in the pocket doing his little dipsy-do shit and piecing you up, man. That's who he was. That's who he was. The outpouring of love he's getting is just, it's warranted. It's fans shouting him out. Dudes who didn't even promote him are shouting him out. Opponents are shouting him out. De La Hoya and Chavez both went on record saying he's the best guy I ever fought. What does that say? And I'm not saying this to throw shade in any way, but Sweet Pea Whittaker was every bit as good at what he did as Floyd is. They were both two of the most pure boxers I've ever seen. I'm not going to say Pernell's over Floyd, but I'm damn sure not going to say Floyd's over Pernell either. Two of the best pure boxers you would ever want to see. Rest in peace, Pernell. I'm blessed, privileged, and honored to have watched you fight, sir. You will always hold a place in my heart. I love you, man. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Televisión. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do. R.I.P. Pernell.